Alright, time for the YouTube video. So, we get into Raw. Raw started with the Shield and there's always other stuff. So, Raw started, well, no, it didn't. Raw started with Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre coming out, basically saying how Braun's the monster heel now. What else happened? Then the Shield came out. They brawled. The whole roster came out there to pull them apart. Then the Shield got sent to jail. And then we get Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. Bella Twins win. Brie botches 2 suicide dives. And then later, the Bellas are backstage offering fashion advice and book advice and training advice to Ronda Rousey, which was like, does Ronda really need to train from you guys? Come on now. Then we get Bobby Lashley. Whatever. I'll go to the Bobby Lashley thing. I was going to say Bobby Roode, but whatever. So, Bobby Lashley in-ring segment with Jinder Mahal and Sunil Singh. Kevin Owens comes back, attacks him. So we're going to get Kevin versus Bobby as a feud. So, yeah. Then we get, what I should have said, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus The Ascension. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable beat The Ascension. So they're a tag team now. Which some people are saying, oh, Bobby Roode's going to turn heel off them being a tag team. Which I could see it. Bobby Roode turning heel on Chad Gable because Chad Gable's trying to steal his spotlight. Whenever Bobby Roode does a glorious pose, Chad Gable's standing like right in front of him, basically doing a pose. Then we get Alexa Bliss versus Natalya. Alexa Bliss beats Natalya with an armbar, which is like stupid because nobody in WWE does their armbars right. Well, I guess other than Asuka, nobody in WWE does their armbars right, which they're all told to do it that way. So it is what it is. Then we get freaking McIntyre and Ziggler versus the B team, which was supposed to be them two versus the Revival, but Revival got attacked by McIntyre and Ziggler, which McIntyre and Ziggler then won the tag titles with the Zigzag Claymore combo. The Authors of Pain defeat some jobbers and Rockstar Spud, aka Drake Maverick, aka the 205 Live general manager, is now the manager for the Authors of Pain, and he will still be general manager for 205 Live. So there you go. So then we get Shawn Michaels coming out, cutting a promo talking about how he thinks Triple H is going to win at the Australia Super Show. And then Undertaker comes out and says, Shawn, why are you still retired? Is it out of respect or is it out of fear? Are you afraid or do you just respect me too much? And Shawn Michaels is basically saying, oh, I don't wrestle anymore because it's out of respect for you, which I said that in the inverse. Shawn said he respects the Undertaker first, and then the Undertaker said, is it because of fear or whatever? He said, is it that or is it because you're afraid? And then the crowd goes, whoa! Crowd popped. So this was like the hottest crowd moment of the night, I guess, for like a Undertaker and Shawn to come out there. So then we get Sasha and Bayley versus Dana Brooke and Ember Moon. Why Ember Moon is being used as a tag partner for Dana Brooke when they could do something with Ember Moon. But hey, Ronda's champion, so you got to do something with the rest of them, right? Anyway, Sasha and Bayley beat Dana and Ember Moon. Dana quits Titus Worldwide after because she's getting distracted by Titus and Apollo trying to give her advice, yelling at her and whatnot. We get the announcement that Lita and Mickie James is happening at Evolution. That should be a good match. Lita and Mickie James are pretty good wrestlers, so not a match that I need to see, but it should be good. It's like not a match that I want or needed, but it's going to be a good match. Braun versus Finn. Braun wins. Then the Shield come out and get attacked by all the heels on the locker room. And like for whatever reason, they got attacked by all the heels in the locker room. I don't know why it happened. Nobody knows why. It just happened. All right, so I got SmackDown to talk about. Look up these results real quick. Yeah, I look up my results on my phone. Some people say I'm the worst reviewer ever. I've heard that from a friend who I talk to on the daily, not the daily, like maybe a couple times a month at least, because I'm in an Instagram group with him, so he tells me that, which it is what it is. We we used to talk on the phone too, so yeah. Uh, anyways, SmackDown starts with Renee coming out introducing Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella talk about how they're going to beat Miz and Maurice, how they want to challenge them tonight, but they're not here. They appear on the Titantron. We're at an Italian restaurant, Detroit. And then Andrade comes out there. We get Daniel Bryan versus Andrade. Daniel Bryan wins. And then they're walking. Brie and Bryan and are backstage saying how they're going to go get some Italian because Miz and Maurice got Italian. But when they get there, not that we see them get there, but Miz and Maurice are gone because they come back later in the show. And then we get Naomi versus Peyton Royce. Naomi gets a win. So she got a win off of her loss to both of them individually to the last 2 weeks. So yeah, good to see Naomi getting a win. And some say Peyton Royce only got a win because of the Dave Meltzer stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably is. But either way. So next, well, the Iconics attack Naomi, then Asuka comes out to make the save. So we'll get Asuka and Naomi versus the Iconics probably next week on SmackDown. Then we get Samoa Joe promo. And then Joe says, "Oh, Wendy," because Joe and AJ are running the storyline where Joe's like not obsessed with AJ's family, just trying to scare him, I guess. So then AJ says you shouldn't mess with a man's family. He says that on the Titantron, so we think, oh, AJ's not here. AJ's music hits, he comes out, Joe and AJ fight. Then Paige and the referees come out to break it up. And like AJ is like backing up or whatever. And when the referees are out there, he jumps on the referees and like he didn't push him out the way or anything. He just did a suicide dive or something with Joe getting held back by refs. And then Paige comes out there and backs AJ down, which people say it makes Paige look like a good general manager that the wrestlers don't want to get fired, which is like, yeah, that's true. And then we get Usos versus Rusev and Aiden English for Sanity. Rusev and Aiden English win, and they're going on next week to fight the Bar, and the winner of that match will fight the New Day at Hell in a Cell, which I think the match at the Australia Super Show was already announced. It's going to be the Bar versus somebody. It's like if the Bar win the tag titles, then the Bar are going to fight. No, it is announced as the Bar versus the New Day, I believe, for the tag titles. So I think New Day are going to retain at Hell in a Cell, and then probably retain at the Super Show too. I don't know what title changes, if any, are going to happen at the Australia Super Show, but I'll do predictions for that, even though I won't be watching it live because that's going to come on when I'm asleep, because that comes on at like 5 a.m. my time. So, and I'll do predictions for Hell in a Cell as well. So then we get, so basically Paige tells Miz that if you leave the arena, you're going to be fired, and you fight anybody who wants to fight you tonight. So that's why R-Truth is gonna fight Miz, and we go through the comedy segment of R-Truth looking for Carmella. He thinks he finds Carmella. He calls Maurice Carmella, and Maurice is like, "How dare you compare me to that Staten Island piece of trash?" And then Miz comes up and says, "What are you doing talking to my wife? I didn't know." And then R-Truth says, "I didn't know you were married to Carmella." And then so R-Truth walks away and finds Carmella. Well, Ty Dillinger and R-Truth find Carmella because R-Truth's like, "Where's Carmella?" Ty's like, "She's right there." And R-Truth goes up, says, "Have you seen Carmella?" And Carmella goes, "I am Carmella." And then Truth's like, "Did you hear what Maurice said to you?" And R-Truth's like, "Maurice is my cousin." And so it was like, okay, well, whatever. That was kind of funny. And then Truth says that Maurice called Carmella the Staten Island piece of trash, and then like Carmella's basically says like, "I'm gonna snatch that blonde bimbo bald," which is like almost like a play off of Naomi's words, like, "I'm gonna snatch you bald," but Carmella added her own word in there. So yeah. Anyway, R-Truth versus Miz. R-Truth wins a main event of SmackDown in 2018. R-Truth has a main event at a SmackDown probably since him and Miz were teaming up. Him and Miz were The Rock's first match back in WWE. So yeah. So then we get like Andrade coming out. Well, I think Daniel Bryan and Brie come out first, and Miz and Maurice attack Brie and Bryan. Brie and Bryan fight them off. Then Andrade and Zelina come out there, and they get put in the yes lock. So that's the end of SmackDown. Now on to 205 Live. So first match on 205 Live is Tony Nese versus Grand Metalik. Grand Metalik, does he win? Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, wait. No. Tony Nese wins. Sorry. So yeah, Tony Nese wins. And next week, well, not next week yet. Next we get Noah Embar versus Brian Kelly. Noah Embar versus Jobber. Noah Embar wins. Leo Rush is the next feud for Noah Embar. Leo Rush was on commentary. Then we get Cedric versus TJP. Cedric wins. And then Gulak comes out to fight Cedric. And I think they don't get pulled apart. Then Jack Gallagher comes from behind to attack Cedric before Gulak can get in the ring. And then Gulak puts the Gulak on Cedric, which is basically the Dragon Sleeper. So Cedric versus Drew Gulak will happen at some point. I don't know when, but it'll happen at some point. Then we get NXT. Tommaso says he only is going to show up when he has to defend the title. So we'll see where that goes. Cassius Ohno fights Kona Reeves. Cassius Ohno wins. And then he grabs the mic and says he's the standard bearer for NXT, so anybody new that shows up has to go through him. The Forgotten Sons, which is Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. If you guys remember Blake and Murphy, that Wesley Blake. Forgotten Sons beat Street Profits via the knee drop DDT combo, and Jackson Riker, which is Gunner from TNA, accompanies them to the ring. And then TM61 interferes in the match, which is why the Forgotten Sons win. And then we get Heavy Machinery being interviewed by William Regal, basically asking if they saw anything. And they say, yeah, they say Tommaso. We saw Tommaso walking away from the attack, like basically insinuating, like, oh, Tommaso was the one that attacked Aleister Black, which is probably true. So then we get Kairi Singh versus Trish Adore, which is a jobber. So Kairi Singh wins. War Raiders do a hype video where they're talking about beating the Undisputed Era for the tag titles at some point. Shayna Baszler comes out, beats up Kairi. Kairi fights back. Shayna's walking back up the ramp. Lars Sullivan talking to Regal, talking about how he apologized for not letting Regal know that he's back. And he said that, like, he didn't say anything about attacking Aleister Black, so he probably didn't do it. Then we get announcement of Raul Mendoza being fed to Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan's going to win, of course. Then we get Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano. Johnny is fighting himself, turning into Tommaso and not turning into Tommaso. So Velveteen Dream wins because he gets in Johnny's head, calls him Johnny Failure. Johnny runs at him with the knee. Velveteen Dream picks him up, Death Valley Driver, 1, 2, 3, done. Velveteen wins. All right. Whoops. All right. So, on to Lucha Underground. So, the first thing we get is a backstage fight with Katrina and Melissa Santos. And before that, we get Katrina saying, since I'm alive now, I don't have to do your bidding anymore, Mill. So Katrina goes to walk out, and Mill's like sitting there or whatever. So then we get Melissa coming up, and she's like, "Oh, what do you think you're going?" And then they fight up to the roof of the temple, and then Katrina's like about to go off the edge. Mill comes up, grabs her hand, places the rock in her hand, and then drops her. So Katrina is dead in Lucha Underground world. She's dead, but nobody stays dead in Lucha. So then we get Aerostar coming out of nowhere because he's a time traveler. It's his gimmick. And with Lucha Underground, time traveling is like the least interesting thing that can happen on the show. Anyway, Aerostar says, "Give me the half of the medallion that you got from Dragon Azteca." So he doesn't take the medallion yet. He takes the energy from the stone and goes back in time, puts it into Phoenix, brings him back, takes him back 10 weeks later to where Melissa's standing outside. And then Phoenix walks up, Aerostar walks up, Phoenix and Melissa hug each other. And Aerostar's like, "I'm warning you, I just took him out of time, so he's going to take a little while to get used to himself again." So then Melissa gives him the medallion, Aerostar leaves, and so Phoenix is back on Lucha Underground. Then we get the opening. Our first match is Killshot versus Big Bad Steve with beautiful Brenda, who is freaking Famous B's like assistant or whatever. Because Famous B has this like company, quote unquote, and he has like superstars that are in his company. Or this like he's got a label or a managing thing or whatever, not a company. He's like a manager. So Killshot beats Big Bad Steve and then knocks Son of Havoc's popcorn out of his hands, and then they fight. So then we get after they fight, we get is that is that the only thing? The only other thing that happened is the championship match. There were only 2 matches on the show. No, wait. Oh, wait, no. Joey Mercury, aka Joey Wrestling, got killed by the monster Matanza, aka Jeff Cobb. So he's another sacrifice to the gods. And then we get Pentagon. Well, I think I did those in reverse order. I think Johnny Wrestling had his match before Killshot and Big Bad Steve. So either way, 3 matches on the show. Third match, Lucha Underground Championship, Pentagon versus Hernandez. Pentagon wins. This match was good back and forth. Lucha Underground, pretty good. Pretty good show all around. All right, so now on to the Mae Young Classic. If I can, hopefully I can look these up without getting spoiled. There we go. All right. So there were 4 matches on the Mae Young Classic. Tegan Knox versus Zatara. Tegan Knox, aka Nixon Newell from WCPW and Defiant Wrestling. Tegan Knox wins. She does get a leg injury sometime like later in the tapings, I guess, because they showed that in the tapings at some point that she gets a leg injury, which most people knew about already. MJ Jenkins versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was looking great. Like, she looked great before. She was in the Mae Young Classic a year ago. She looked great then. She still looks great now. So nothing's really changed. So yeah, anyway, MJ Jenkins versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley wins. And Rhea Ripley got signed already. Anyway, so yeah, Rhea Ripley got signed already. Tegan Knox, I don't know if she got signed yet, but she should be signed. Well, she's injured now, but anyway, after her injury, they should sign her. Vanessa Craven versus Lacey Lane. Lacey Lane, who had matches with Lio Rush and probably, I don't know if they're best friends, but I'm sure they're friends. So anyway, Lacey Lane beats Craven. Beats Craven. Craven's basically like that one Mae Young Classic competitor that was like a giant. She's like 6'5" or something like that. So yeah, this hold on. This Mae Young Classic was pretty good, like the first round anyway. Then we get Killer Kelly main event. Killer Kelly versus Meiko Satomura. Meiko Satomura wins, and she's like another one of the Japanese wrestlers that WWE brought in. They've brought in 4 now: Io Shirai, Meiko, Kairi, and Asuka. So people are saying Meiko's gonna win the whole thing. I think it's gonna be Io Shirai to win the whole thing. And the finals are gonna be at our Evolution, not our Evolution, just Evolution. Sorry. So yeah, that's everything. You know, we'll do predictions for Hell in a Cell later, and like later as in I don't probably next week. So yeah, see you guys.